gaming has changed since the 90s to the modern day? Lads, do you have any input on this specific topic?
I personally believe the graphics have obviously improved really high. They have gotten from those pixel art to 2D pixel art to like realistic AI led art frames, and yeah, I mean, it's really. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely a significant change has happened. I would say one of the changes you can really tell between the 90s and modern day would be Half-Life.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's the story game, right?
it's that very innovative game
Oh,
by
yeah,
Valve.
yeah. I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot of gameplays on it. Yeah,
Well,
it's a
the
really.
main evolution you can see between 90s graphics and modern day graphics is in that game. For example, if you look at the original game and then its remake, there is a huge difference of quality between them. There's higher level textures. The gameplay is much smoother.
Yeah.
There isn't as many. If you play the original game, you can see the amount of boxy levels there, as if it was just imported from the Quake engine. But now we're able to have rounded rooms, much larger levels, without loading spaces.
Yeah.
And as well, competitive play has completely changed as well since that game. For example, you take Call of Duty nowadays, you have leveling in the game. You unlock different weapons as you go along. Back then, it was just you picked your character, you collected the weapons on the level, and then you had a fight with each other in a huge deathmatch. But since then, we've innovated in many ways. For example, nowadays you can customize the full weapon.
One thing which I noticed over this progression was how the textures are improving. Because if you see the older games, you'll see the textures are like stretched.
Yes, and that was because for older games, sometimes they actually never came up with their own textures. They just took a photograph of a real life object and stretched it onto a wall.
Yeah, I mean, because now you do see that in-depth a 3D look to it. And for example, like there's an old table, you'll see the fungus on the table, you'll see the algae in an underwater boat instead of those old thingies. Wait,
Like, here's a great example. You compare Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Redemption 1, you can see how the textures have gotten so much better.
Yeah. So, have you guys, like, what was your 90s favorite game? Like, the oldest game?
My favorite oldest game?
Yeah. So,
to pick the oldest game, which I like the most, I'd have to say Fallout. I love the first game.
I think I've seen the gameplay. For me, I liked The Godfather. Have you guys played it?
Oh, that game from 2000.
Yeah, it had a movie on it too. Or the movie was on it. I don't know.
The movie came out in the 70s.
Oh.
The Godfather game came out in 2006 for the PS2 and Xbox.
Yeah, that was like one of my first games which I played on my PlayStation 2.
So my first game, I'm pretty sure, was Gran Turismo 5.
Oh, is that the 2D game?
No, Gran Turismo 5, like for the very first game I've ever played, that was a PS3 game, if you've ever seen it.
I think I have, yeah.
Like, it looks very good still nowadays.
Wait, Big Mac I have to stop you there. Big Mac has just said something in the chat. It's crazy to see how far we've come. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we've come a long way since the olden days.
Yeah.
If you take a look, here's another example. Play Gran Turismo 1, then play Gran Turismo 7. You can see the humongous leap we've had. Nowadays, you have to change your tires in the game. Whereas in Gran Turismo 1, they only had that for one mode because it was so difficult to code in and animate.
Yeah, the 3D models have also gotten like really high quality.
And now you can see the inside of your car.
Yeah. Personally, I believe the storyline of the 90s game was much better than the games today we are getting. The storyline to me.
Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to state because there's some games that come out nowadays with amazing stories. For example, Alan Wake 2. But I think what's happened is that main market games, such as Call of Duty, has had a dip in their story since that's not the main focus. After, I think, Call of Duty Black Ops. Black Ops 2. They just said that no one wants to play the campaigns. We're wasting money on campaigns. Everyone just wants multiplayer and zombies. So why don't we just make terrible campaigns?
Black Ops was like one of the best games I've ever played. Like the mechanism of moving, shooting, throwing grenades is really cool to play on like Black Ops. Which game have you played on Call of Duty?
I've played World at War, Black Ops 1.
Oh my god, World War 2. Have you played that? World War 2 Call of Duty?
That one. That was my first COD. My first COD game was actually COD Ghosts.
Oh my god,
the worst game.
For me, the Call of Duty World War 2 was my favorite game. It had best storyline, it had best suspense, it had best mechanics for me.
I'd have to argue Black Ops 2 is the best storyline. You can literally get different endings in that game. It's one of the only COD games where you can get like 6 different endings. Actually, let me search that up. BO2, all endings.
Big Mac again have said something in the chat. One of my favorite older game is Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, it's such a good game, yeah. There's 8 endings actually for Black Ops 2, but yeah, Super Mario Sunshine's great.
Yeah.
I still think though Luigi's Mansion 1 is an amazing game.
So have you guys tried speedrunning such 90s game?
I tried to speed run Half-Life, but it took me a while to get used to it. It was it's so weird. But I can speedrun Fallout by just going straight to the base in the cathedral. That's what I can do for that.
I was wondering this for a long time. Why do you guys think mainly 90s games are the games which are being speedrun than the 21st century's game?
No, that there is 21st century games being sped run.
Yeah, but not as much compared to the 90s game. If you go on Twitch, you'll see 50 people or maybe more than that trying to speedrun the Super Mario game. Finding like glitches.
Because that's such a popular game. But if you look at the most sped run game, I'm pretty sure it's Minecraft.
Yeah. Wait.
Actually, at the moment, it's Ultra Kill.
Wait, I haven't heard of that. What happens in that?
Portal is also a very sped run game.
Oh, yeah, that's a good game. Speaking of Minecraft, what do you guys think happened to Dream? Like, he's been off the internet for a while now.
I think it was just he's had enough of the controversy. But the biggest controversy, in my opinion, was the entire it's lying on his speedrun.
Yeah.
What a disgrace.
Yeah. I still don't understand. Why do people hate Dream? Was it because of his face, the face reveal he did? Why do people like hate him a lot?
I think it's mainly because of the face thing, which that's a bit mean.
To be honest, if Dream was a girl and she was the one who like showed her face, no one would have commented a lot. And even if someone commented, they would go after him or her.
Yeah.
But since he's a boy, he's being like trolled so much. Like,
I always felt sorry for him because I don't think the hate was needed. I just felt like people hate him for no reason.
Yeah. So, what's your like favorite game right now in the 21st century?
Fallout New Vegas.
Do you play the multiplayer round of that?
I've been playing that game the last week. I've gotten like 3. I've gotten 3 of the endings at the moment. 3 of 4 endings, I'm pretty sure. I have to just get yes man, that's it.
Do you think the 90s game was like easier compared to the new games? Is it?
No. Here's one thing. Try and play, I'm thinking of a game that I haven't mentioned already. Try and play Metal Gear Solid 1 without any knowledge of playing
I've
these
played it,
games
yeah.
like this.
The Metal Gear Solid, I bought it once and I was not able to get out of the first round.
Oh my god, you mean by the container?
I think so, the ship one, do you mean?
Oh, the ship?
Yeah, the one which starts with the ship, the person is...
That's Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, I think I've played that of the whole series. How do you find that?
I thought that the ship level wasn't. It was a good introduction. It was a bit difficult, but I liked that at the end of the day. Too bad we didn't get enough Snake in that game. It was mainly Raiden, whatever his name was.
What do you think about the main storyline games, Last of Us game, which is like mainly focused around the storyline? They've created best graphics, the best actors, the best voice acting, best animation. However, they're bad at like the overall gameplay. So how do you think about these storyline games?
I don't mind them. It's interesting sometimes to get a slower paced linear story game compared to the usual. Oh, usually nowadays games are divided into two subgenres. There is what is it? There's open world and then there's linear. What the only issue is that sometimes we get oversaturated with open world games to the point where we want to play linear games, but then we get oversaturated with linear games. Sometimes. And I think that one of the best games I've ever played was Batman Arkham Asylum. It combines open world level design with linear storytelling amazingly well. Instead of focusing so much on a humongous open world, it has a much smaller contained one, which you can explore at your heart's content throughout. I'm not a big fan of the humongous open world games that force you to travel an entire map to just do one mission. Maybe that's such a controversial opinion. I'm going to be banned off of every website after saying that.
No, well, I share the same opinion. Have you tried Ghost Recon?
Sorry, how do you spell that?
Ghost, RECON. So
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon. It has such a big map. Like I bought that game. I used to get tired even moving from one map to another map to get the quests done.
Okay, to be honest with you, I like Wildlands. I think Wildlands is okay.
Wait, is the Wildland game in which they transfer the drug stuff?
Sorry?
Is it the one in the tropical area?
I think no. Breakpoint is the tropical one.
Oh.
Wildlands, I'm pretty sure it's just set in the Wildlands.
Yeah, is it like, do you have to go in a mountain or like a volcano for your save point? Is that the one?
Sorry, I haven't played the game in so long. I just cannot remember. I played it when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I share the same opinion. I usually get a lot tired if the distance is a lot from one quest to another quest. And you need to find a vehicle, you need to move over there, and sometimes there are a few games which have moving NPCs in the map which try to kill you.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind that. I hate it when a game relies so heavily on its open world that the story kind of dissipates within it. A game where you spend so much time exploring and having to do menial side quests that the game's story ends up faltering due to that. Like people, I love GTA 4 because it doesn't have that big of an open world and its story is amazing because it doesn't abuse the open world in a sense where that open world is required for everything within that story and you're not forced to do these annoying side quests. Like there's some games like I could never get the hang of, which are such an open world, but you just can't beat the main story because you have to do this little quest for this person and this little quest for that person, and then you're sitting there saying it ruins the entire experience of the game. I've only played like 2 games like that, but I'm a bigger fan of games which have a linear. Now I could sound hypocritical because I like New Vegas and that has a lot of side quest content to it. But it's mostly optional. I just hate when side quests are made into the main quests of a game, where you're forced to do a little collectathon to get past an area, and you're sitting there saying, I don't want to do this. I want to beat the game. I want to beat the story.
Have you played any of those Assassin's Creed games?
Oh yeah, I played Assassin's Creed 1. Yeah, that's the only one.
The Ezio one, in which the person wears the white dress, the Ezio. I know I'm pronouncing that, but is it pronounced Ezio?
Ezio. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. But I'm pretty sure I've only played the first one with your man Altair in it. I didn't play the sequel or anything like that. I think I should play them.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good game. It has it's not linear. It has an open world. But you don't have much freedom in the open world. You can't steal cars.
Yeah, like here's the one thing, which just to solidify my point, I don't mind a game with an open world. I don't like games which use side quests. I don't mind a game with an open world. I like open worlds. I just don't like games which use side quests as their main quests. Like for example, in order to beat the game, you must do a side quest for a person you don't really care about. Like it doesn't contribute anything to its story, doesn't contribute anything to anywhere. It doesn't make you feel like you're contributing anything. You're just doing it just to add time onto your game experience. There's no real reason for it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, what do you think about the 90s multiplayer games? Like the 90s multiplayer games versus current multiplayer games? Because we have Fortnite now. Fortnite is like really popular game among Gen Zs now. And 90s, I don't think there was the technology yet to find out what's to play multiplayer games. What do you think?
Have you ever played Quake?
No, I haven't. Hold on.
That was the peak of 90s multiplayer. Then you had Half-Life Deathmatch, which it wasn't that popular.
I think I've played Quake. Is the one which Notch played with few kids?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Notch was at QuakeCon playing it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I think it was released in early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Notch plays Quake. It came out in the 90s. It was by the guys who made Doom, and it had a humongously popular multiplayer mode. And then the sequel, and then there's Quake Arena, and they're all great. The thing that you will notice about them is the rocket jump. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And one last thing is the 90s, Team Fortress 1 came out in the 90s, and Counter-Strike came out, I think, early 2000s.
Counter-Strike, yeah. Counter-Strike has like getting regular updates, and it's like really popular now. Because it's like one of the games which didn't die, the old games which didn't die, and it's still popular now.
Guys, I cannot believe it. Counter-Strike 1 came out on November 9th, 2000, and Counter-Strike 2 came out on September 27, 2023. I know they've had all the other games. It's just so funny how there's only 2 named games. Like the rest of them are technically spin-offs, aren't they?
Oh wait, what do you think about combo games? Like
Sorry, I'm just replying to Big Mac. Yeah, Team Fortress came out in the 90s.
Oh.
Yeah, it was built on the Gold Source engine.
Oh wait, hold on. I haven't seen it.
1999. Yeah, you can search it up.
Yeah, what happens in that game?
It's just feels a lot like Half-Life 1 in its gameplay, but it is a really fun game. I played it. It's very fun.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen it. Like, wait, what do you think about combo games? A League of Legends in which you gotta like master all the keybinds, learn more combos, or Street Fighters for that matter.
Oh, I love Street Fighter, but I've never played League of Legends.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've played like Street Fighter. However, the multiplayer mode is filled of tryhards guys, and they're like spamming the moves. Like they have so dangerous combos. It's really tough to play online. Because it requires a lot of determination. If you want to get better, you need to learn a lot of combos and.
Yeah.
So like. We are reaching the end of the podcast. What do you think about the future of gaming?
I feel like it's gonna get good with the implementation of VR into mainstream media. We are creating more immersive and direct experiences instead of what we originally had. For example, through the use of VR, we are able to now play as Batman in VR with the upcoming Arkham Shadows. We can now play as a person going through the combo in Half-Life Alyx. You can now play with tons of physics and become John Wick and Boneworks. It really shows how we are innovating, that now games can be fully immersed. Instead of having a keyboard or a controller, it's your own hands being used. And I think the best case of this is the Valve Index, which allows you to physically grab stuff with individual fingers. Another example would be the Oculus hand tracking.
Yeah.
It's just the only issue with VR for many people, including probably me and you, is that it's very expensive to get into. Every game is 60 quid for VR, and a headset costs you 500 quid, and you're thinking, why? Why is it so expensive to get into VR and stuff like that? Maybe it's because the technology is new, but you're paying the same amount of money for a PlayStation VR, for a PlayStation 5 to get a headset, and then what happens if there's not enough games for the headset? Because that's something I've noticed. Now, I don't play VR, but I notice sometimes that if you look at, if you like go onto Steam and you search up games, like there's only like 4 to 5 mainstream games that are there at the moment.
I think, Do you think AI will be involved in gaming in the future? Because I think
it's already involved.
Yeah, even more. For example, in Minecraft, they can make the villagers talk like with AI. For
I
example,
wouldn't say that'd be a Minecraft thing. I would say more than likely what's going to be used is that people are going to start using AI to help them with coding, to help them with texture modeling in characters within.
yeah, they can also be used in for NPCs, because right now even the latest game, the NPCs are really like scripted. You can even walk faster than them. You can come in front of them while they're walking. Like they're really scripted right now, and they work in a very linear pattern. With AI, they can act as real players, and yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
You seem very out of touch right there. Sorry, I was just looking at some. I just hope that we don't get that situation where we will dive straight into AI taking over what we create. But the only issue with AI is, I will say that it will never have the creative genius as a person. A normal human will never be as creative as us. They'll always mess up in some way, shape, and or form. For example, AI music, even though we're not on the music podcast, we talked about it.
Yeah.
You will never have an AI come up with a song as good as what Pink Floyd came up with. You'll never have an AI come up with a next generational video game like Half-Life 2 or Batman Arkham Asylum or any Sony game, the good ones.
wait, using this point, like coming back to your Pink Floyd point, do you think it's more towards the perspective? If someone gives you a soundtrack and they say it's made by Pink Floyd, would you believe them even if it's made of Suno AI? Would you believe them, and will you be able to like differentiate between the Pink Floyd music and the AI music, even if they tell you that it's by Pink Floyd?
That is a good question, to be honest with you. Now, I personally believe that it would be a bit difficult to tell the difference between them. Because you're talking about, will you differentiate the difference between an AI and a real person? And at the moment, the main difference you will always hear in AI music compared to what we make is the voice. But if that improves and the singers sound perfect, they don't sound like the AI that we listen to, then we'll get into a situation where the only reason AI sounds like that is that it's copying. It's copying other artists. If you tell an AI to make a Beatles song, it makes a Beatles song. And that's what's happening. What people are saying to ChatGPT is, can you give me code to make a video game? And the ChatGPT will give you that code immediately, which means you don't need to go out and spend hours studying vectors, to study how inputs work, how to create a player model, and so on. You just ask ChatGPT to create the entire movement system for your game, and you put it in, and it half the time probably doesn't work because it's all incorrect, because ChatGPT doesn't know what you're calling it.
Do you think like the humans will become a bit more reliant on gaming in future, or in AI in future, like the Wall-E scene in Last, where you see all the humans have been stuck to their screen? Do you think that might be a possibility in future?
I feel personally we are relying more on games now, considering that it's such a huge money maker for the industry. GTA 5 outsold multiple movies, and Minecraft is the best-selling game, I'm pretty sure, of all time.
Yeah.
We will probably in the future won't be looking at movies, we'll be playing games all the time. And that's happening now. Sometimes when you sit down at home and you're sitting to play a few games, usually you don't look at a movie anymore. Like, when was the last time you guys looked at a movie? Now, I look at ones usually every week, but when was the last time you sat down to look at a full movie?
Yeah, it's weird, yeah.
Because when you look at a movie, you're looking at something happening. What you want to do is, when you play games, you now can physically act out what's happening through the use of your keyboard, or if you own the VR headset, through the use of the headset and all that. So you then, when you look at a movie, you want to, if you keep doing that all the time, you don't want to sit down and look at a movie. You want to keep playing games. You want to have that type of control to be able to enact your fantasy. Like, for example, something I've noticed is that I was looking at The Dark Knight recently, and after that I wanted to play Batman Arkham City because I wanted to play as Batman.
Yeah, I think it's also to do with the frames that are like moving through your eyes. Because, for example, in gaming, there's 60 frames per second, and your brain constantly requires new stuff. And maybe our dopamine receptors are also like do like such stuffs, and due to which our brain is more likely to get addicted to gaming than like movies because they have like constant changing frames per second.
I would say that gaming addiction mainly comes from just only playing games, in that sense that you're not going out, you're not doing anything else. You just want to play games. You want to sit inside and play games all day.
Yeah.
And although gaming addiction is considered a mental disorder, it's one of the hardest things to break away from because you want to have that interaction when you play a game.
Because
You don't want to sit there and just look at something go by. You don't want to go on a walk. You want to be able to have this interaction with the world, with this fictional world, and have fun with this world. But when in real life you can't do them things. When you look at a movie, you're not physically acting out. You're just seeing someone doing it. So that's why I think gaming comes on, because you want to do these fictional acts. You want to play these fictional characters. You don't want to sit there and imagine it, or you don't want to sit there and write about it. You don't want to sit there and look at it or listen to it. You want to experience it. You want to play as that fictional character. And that's the reason why gaming addictions come around, because people want to spend time, rather, instead of thinking about something, they want to physically act on it, and then it becomes addicted because they want to keep this fantasy up that they're playing as this certain character or they're doing a certain thing. Now maybe that's for me what I believe. There are other things such as the satisfaction of winning a match in Call of Duty, or trying your best to get the CS:GO knife. Like that's an addiction as well. But and Fortnite as well, trying to get a win. But for mainly single player games, I think the reason people get addicted is that they want to enact these fantasies of these characters that they like, but they don't want to sit there and imagine it. They would rather spend hours just playing a game over and over and over again to do this.
I think it's also to do with the feeling of escapism. Like you're leaving all your problems behind and you're going to a fictional world where you are like, you don't have any responsibilities. You can do whatever you want to do. So
yeah, you don't need to pay bills. You don't need, unless you're playing Meister McCarran and stuff like that. You don't need to pay bills. You get to just enact this fantasy, this unrealistic fantasy, and I think that's it. But anyway, the time has just come to the end. My timer's just went off. Do you want to continue on for a bit, or do you just want to end it off here?
I think we should keep more topics for the next session of gaming.
Yeah.
If you have with more people, we can have a part 2 gaming podcast.
Yeah, that was fun. Maybe we don't upload this one because
let's see. Let's see.
There's only 2 of us talking, and then Big Mac was just coming in sometimes. So maybe wait until we have a bunch of people just discussing stuff, because it's just us 2.
Yeah, let's see. I'll create an editing draft, and if it like sounds good and if it like works well, we'll think about it if we want to upload it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Do an outro, Craig. You're the host.
Hey, yeah. Thank you for listening for the Dublin Tech Circuit's first gaming podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'd like to hear any feedback you have on the podcast, and thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Big Mac, for coming up.
Thank you, Big Mac. Thank you, Arjun, for joining me.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks, everyone. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.